What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Sibz, West Coast, East Coast siblings, where we break down your favorite movies and TV shows. Tonight, Zach from the Basement with Zach is joining me, as it's a very special night. The Snowpiercer 2-hour season finale is coming on, and so we're going to be giving our final predictions. So be sure to hit us up in the comments. We'll be looking at it live right now. And Zach, let's jump into this. We're breaking it down into 3 categories. It's going to be number 1, what's going to happen in this episode? Number 2, okay, is what character is going to win, basically, in the Game of Thrones, who wins? And then finally, number 3, who's going to die? So, Zach, why don't you kick us off with what do you think is going to happen in this episode tonight?
All right. The happenings of Snowpiercer as it continues to grow. First, right off the back, I think that there's going to be a lot of team switching going on tonight. We see about 10 characters right now whose alliances are kind of in question, just to name a few. Alex, the Irish people, sorry, the Aussies, even Icy Bob. I've seen a little bit of confusion, but I think that Wilfred has him under his thumb hard enough that he won't leave. But that's just a few that kind of come to mind who might change allegiances tonight. In this 2-hour season finale, which man,
yeah, it comes on at 9 o'clock and it ends at 11. Before we dive too deep into it, I do want to remind you guys that for this finale tonight, we'll be doing a 2-parter. So part 1 will be on Sibz, but part 2 will be on the La Quente Ledger. So it's a 2-part series. Zach, I think I mentioned that to you, but surprise.
I mean, it's kind of news, but I like it. It's a nice idea. I would have agreed anyways.
Yeah, so there we go. So jumping into what I think is going to happen in this episode tonight, I think it's going to all hit the fan in the sense that everyone who is working for Wilfred that is currently on Snowpiercer is going to be exposed. There's going to be a line drawn in the sand, and there will be no more mystery about who's supporting Wilfred and who's not. At the end of the last episode, Zach, Wilfred had won. He had taken his seat at the front of Snowpiercer, and to seemingly applause, like everyone was on board, everybody was excited. And so I think for this episode, for these 2 episodes, 2 hours, we're going to see a line drawn in the sand. Definitely.
Yes, he definitely wants us to think that everything is unanimous. What with the lantern voting and the applause and the parade and everything else, but there's enough characters for a resistance, and I think that's what we're going to see is a lot more violence, probably the last of it, because I do think that Wilfred's going to try to kind of purge out all of the resistance to his plots.
Oh, yeah. So you think there's going to be civil war? Like, you think there's going to be a battle?
I wouldn't even call it a war. It looks like, and it feels like it's just going to be a hunt, just door to door, Wilfred or die.
Yeah.
And
and it makes sense.
And I think that with his ecosystem and everything, if they're going to try to get back to the key, the core of the character, he's probably going to take the resistance and make them the new tailies, regardless of what they were in the past.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anybody who sides with Leighton, I think it's a do or die thing, and everybody understands that. If you're on Team Wilfred and you lose, you basically die or become the scum of the earth. But I do think that Leighton and Melanie are more likely to spare people and just put them as tailies and try and treat them better, as where Wilfred, he's not even going to play. If he wins, it's over. And everybody who supports Leighton are either going to end up like Sam Roche, a.k.a. the police captain, who gets frozen in cryo, or they're going to get killed. So from there, I want to move into part 2 of tonight's episode, leading up to the finale, which is, who do you think is going to win? Now, we already know at the end of the last episode, Zach, that Wilfred was at the front of Snowpiercer, but I want to ask you, by the end of these 2 hours tonight, who will be the winner?
All right. It is the 2-minute countdown, and we are, as there were before, many fractions within this train, right? Now we are seeing everybody kind of pick sides between Leighton or Mr. Wilfred. And as we were kind of saying, if Wilfred wins this, it's going to be a complete reset back to season 1, just a bigger train and new characters, Everyone's going to be back in the tail. They're all going to have to restart. If Leighton wins, there might be some changes. It's possible that they put Wilfred in a cryo chamber, but it's unlikely, because they don't have any direction with their leadership. It's just kind of taking issues on as they appear, whereas Wilfred has kind of, an idea.
Game plan. Yeah.
But I mean, with all of his support and all of his soldiers and Icy Bob and everything else, his science and the head of the train, I
Yeah.
think there will be a 2 hour resistance, but I think Wilfred's going to win. What do you think?
Ah, okay. All right. So you stole my thunder a bit. Absolutely.
Sorry, man.
I
I'm sorry.
no, no, I hear you. I totally agree. And I think this is what a lot of people think. Wilfred is going to win. This is not going to
Mhm.
change. I think it would be a little too drastic, a little too jarring if they decided to have Wilfred win in just the last episode and then
Yeah.
in the next 2 hours he completely loses all of his power. I
Mhm.
like what you were talking about what happens when one or the other wins. If Wilford dies, he will squash out all resistance, and anybody who's not resisting will be thrown back to the tail and probably treated even worse than they were in season one. So, probably worse than a reset, because we have to remember that all that was going on under the watch of Melanie. Wilford
Yeah.
was not in charge, and so we don't know how Wilford's going to deal with any kind of resistance. But
Mhm.
certainly, the head figures like Melanie and Leighton and Bennett, etc., they will all die.
Mhm.
If Wilford wins and completely takes
Cool.
control, which gets into our third and biggest part of this episode, which is who is going to die. So, obviously, the death predictions, and I'll let you go first. Who do you think? I mean, we're
All
assuming
right.
it's going to end big with a death. Who do
Mhm.
you got?
All right. I'm having flashbacks to Game of Thrones and Avengers Endgame.
Sure.
Uh,
Okay.
but I really don't think that there's going to be any drastic big move kills tonight. Because I think the political shifts on the train are going to be big enough to keep our, our tensions going. I
Sure.
think the most drastic of deaths that we could have would be either Alex, but I find that unlikely because she's younger and they probably want to evolve her character more,
Yeah.
or if the resistance strikes a hard enough blow against Wilfred, possibly Audrey as a
Yeah.
kind of like a revenge killing.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the most dramatic that we could see would be
Yeah.
Audrey's death.
I definitely agree. Audrey could possibly die. Now, what I want to do, I want to get to some of the comments real quick because we've
Yes.
kind of gotten a ton of
Mhm.
comments before I get into my prediction for who I think's going to die. But man, Audrey could die, but I think she's still too relatively new of a character for it to hurt
Mhm.
that much.
Yeah.
So let's get to some of these comments.
Let's see.
So let's see. Blah 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 blah.
Also, what's up, guys? Thanks for watching.
Oh yeah, Zach. Zach said, "Hey everybody." Do you think it will end with a clear winner? Right. So this is from Lucas Lingen. Sorry if I'm
Mhm.
mispronouncing the name. Do I think there will be a clear winner? Yes. Right now there is even a clear winner, and I don't see the power struggle really shifting too much right now. You see Wilford with his big boys, his military people there. They've got like SWAT suits on, and I
Yeah.
don't. I think that's going to be really hard
Mhm.
to deal with. Oh, Lucas is from Germany, so hello from
Nice.
Germany. Awesome. So we also have if Wilford wins these. This is from Zara Salim. Oh, a similar name to Zara in the show. If Wilford wins in these two episodes, definitely Mel is going to be in the lead again next season. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I agree. What would you say to that? There's going to be like a shift of
Me?
power. Yeah, if
All
Wilford
right.
wins. Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. So
Yeah.
here's
Use.
something crazy. All right.
Yeah.
And we mentioned Game of Thrones. It's very similar. It's a very similar show to Game of Thrones with all of its moving parts. If Wilfred wins and he wants to outright crush the resistance and deliver a very large blow, they're
Yeah.
going to kill Andre, similar to how Ned Stark got beheaded in the
Mm,
first season,
yeah.
which I find this unlikely.
Yeah.
I see this happening more as a opener for season 3 or maybe a mid-season thing in season 3.
Sure.
But if they want to boost the ratings, boost the hype, I think he would behead somebody like that or
Yeah.
freeze them off.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that they have to do something
Mhm.
crazy, obviously, in the next season, depending on who ends up winning this season. Hello, Alexandra, everybody. I want to show some of you guys' comments. So definitely, uh, somebody. Oh, perfect pronunciation. Thank you.
Nice.
Especially people got hyped up for this season. Yeah. So getting to my prediction for who's going to die in this episode, I
Okay.
honestly I don't think it's going to be anybody too crazy,
Hmm.
but it will be relatively crazy. And that is Ruth. Also, let
Okay.
us know down in the comments who you think is going to die. Now, let me
Yeah.
explain why I think it's going to be Ruth. I think that Ruth, it and it kind of slipped in there. She's actually kind of becoming irrelevant right now.
Hmm.
Zara became part of the hospitality in the last couple episodes. Assuming that Melanie returns, Melanie and Zara would be able to take over nicely and have Andre take the leadership position, or vice versa. Obviously, with Melanie knowing the train better, Melanie might be able to lead everything up like Wilfred and reassume her position, while Andre takes dealing with the guests and all the political stuff. So I think Ruth, she is somebody who is important enough for it to really hurt tonight if she were to die,
Mhm.
but she's not so important that the show would be over
That's
if
very
she
true.
were to pass away.
Yeah, these shows
So
are predictive enough that you can kind of see when someone's about to die. Similarly, with Walking Dead, they'd always give
yeah,
them a lot more screen time right before they kill them to kind
facts.
of reinforce that feelings with it.
Good
And
point.
another thing that I kind of forgot, I know that
Yeah,
the movies are basically irrelevant at this point,
yeah,
but in the
yeah,
movies,
definitely.
when they talked about resistances, they mentioned that there were about 3 different times that the tailies have tried to resist against the
Sure.
rest of the train.
Good
So
point.
I wonder if they're going to try to fix everything
Yeah.
and make this one of those many resistances uh, in the timeline history.
Yeah, well, this would definitely be the first riot,
Mhm.
as they're only 7 years in, if there were any kind of future
Yeah.
rebellions. I do want to highlight, I want to show this comment. People are
Okay,
saying,
what are they saying?
definitely, Alexandra says, if Ruth dies, I'm rioting. So
Yeah,
definitely some people are
let's do it.
upset about that. Um, and Zara also says that she hopes Ruth doesn't die. So
Mhm.
people are definitely here for people definitely are not supporting Ruth dying. But I really do think that that would be the
Mhm.
kind of death that would sting enough while not destroying the show. Another comment, Zach, I want you to respond to
Yeah,
is from Alexandra. She says, I think one of the Headwoods will be a casualty of war. What do you
I
think of
like
that?
that. I like that idea. See, the idea of like a medical fight, something getting all the way to the science lab
Yeah.
has huge possibilities. Yes, losing a scientist is big, but also their creations, their lab work.
Yeah.
I feel like if anything in there goes wrong, it could be cataclysmic for the train,
For
possibly a
sure.
split in the train, if we want to
Whoa.
think to that direction, or at least something contaminated and they're split, even though the train is still connected. Like it's just
Yeah.
smoking.
Yeah.
So yeah, some kind of natural disaster, well, unnatural disaster on a train, could be another possibility in the coming violence.
Yeah. And it could
So
end
I
the
like that.
Headwoods for sure.
Hmm.
You know what? I think, it's funny because this show tonight is going to be unpredictable in a lot of ways, but
Hmm.
let's bonus round big Icy Bob and
Yes.
Josie, right? They're two kind of
Yes.
X
Triggers.
factors.
Yeah.
We know that Josie, she's kind of been teetering toward the Wilfred side, as where Icy Bob has kind of been teetering toward the rebellious side.
Ooh.
Assuming that they would be some X factors that could easily turn the tide in a battle.
Hmm.
Due to their cold resistance, if somebody undoes the nitrogen and just gases like an entire train car, they would have the advantage there. What do you think happen? What do you think is going to
In
happen for
that
them?
fight.
And then we'll get to some more comments.
All right. So I'm liking this Godzilla King Kong kind of talk right here. If these two are going to
Right,
fight,
right.
I don't know because, well, all right. So
Mm,
obvious aside, Icy Bob is much larger. He's much
yeah,
stronger and he has a lot more experience.
for sure.
But I don't know. He has kind of a weird relationship with her. I don't see them outright hating each other,
I agree.
and I see their fight kind of being anticlimactic. At least this time. This could be kind
Yeah,
of like a first round fight that then could turn into something much bigger in the future.
good
Create some
point.
kind of um, I don't know,
Some kind
animosity
of
between them.
ongoing battle
Yeah,
between
some kind of
mutants.
ongoing every
Basically,
season.
I
We have to
actually
have
I
brought
like
up.
that point. I mean, we know one thing that's been a big through point of the series is Wilfred has been experimenting on people, and so
Yes.
mutants are going to happen. So having the cold resistance as the first kind of step toward
Mhm.
that, I think will be an interesting through point. Let me get to a couple more comments here.
I have a
People are
question for you
saying
though.
they wouldn't be surprised. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, sure. So
But oh yeah, yeah, talk to them first.
okay, okay.
I'm
So
sorry, man,
people
to cut you off. Yeah.
no worries. So they're saying Sean Bean, if he could die in this episode, it would be so Sean Bean. Game of Thrones fans, where you at? Absolutely.
That's
That
perfect.
that's so
It's
possible.
funny. I was thinking of asking you that.
Yeah.
Would they do that? And I don't think so because I think Sean Bean's such a big name that,
Yeah.
and because Sean Bean's parameters, his rules for joining roles now is not to die. He's specifically he has
Did he?
requested not to die now in his films, or at least not till the end.
Yeah.
So I don't. I
That's
think
so
he's
funny.
safe. Yeah, I think he
Yeah, he
kind of
might
has
be safe.
immunity.
I think he would die in season 2 at the earliest. I
Yeah.
really do think his position of power, again, at this point in time, it would not be
It's
undone in
huge.
2 hours. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got his SWAT guards there. He's got
Mhm.
Sam Roche, the captain of the Snowpiercer police,
Yes, sir.
iced basically. Melanie is
Mhm.
off train. There just aren't enough power players to go against Wilford right now. It would have to be a secret move by Audrey or by Alex in
Yeah.
order to tumble his whole tower.
Yeah, if
Um,
Alex stabs him in the back, that's going to be a huge move, and
for
I
sure.
will riot.
For
I
sure.
don't like I don't like Sean Bean anymore. I mean, I love Sean Bean, of course. I don't like Mr. Wilfred anymore.
Yeah,
But that
he's a
would be
weird dude.
such an insane move. But I'm happy that we brought him up because there's been an ongoing theory this season that Mr. Wilfred is eating his bathmates, and I was wondering what you think about that. Will that be shown tonight, uh,
Whew.
or proven that they're eating their own?
Well, I'll tell you what, two things. Number one, this show has had okay, some crazy moments,
Yeah.
some kind of sick moments. So
Mm,
would I say that it would surprise me if something like that happened? Of course not, right?
yeah.
It's Snowpiercer at this point. We've had two bath scenes that kind of toughened my skin for anything to happen.
Mm,
But as far as something like cannibalism happening, I think you might be right because we do know, and I know you said that the movies are now irrelevant. Well, the movie from Netflix with
yeah,
Chris Evans
mostly.
is irrelevant, but a big part that's kind of been absent from the Snowpiercer TV show is the element of cannibalism. That
Mm,
hasn't really happened yet. And of course, we're only 7 years into the new train. So they probably have plenty of food. Certain things haven't
yeah,
broken down. And it may take probably double that amount of time 10, 14 years before we start to see people eating people or even having those the protein bars that are made of
yeah,
cockroaches. We haven't seen those either. But I want to get to a comment real quick.
yeah.
Um, they're
What they
saying
saying?
they're saying, oh, I hope I didn't lose it. There was a shot of Bennett covered in blood. Oh, this is
Mm,
from Alexandra. There was a shot of Bennett covered in blood, and she wouldn't be surprised if he gets his hands dirty kind of fighting.
yeah.
But I want to know, do you think it's possible that Bennett could die in this episode? The right-hand
So
man of Melanie and her love
yeah.
interest.
So that's the thing, right? When he kind of when Wilfred was mentioned to Bennett from the very
Sure.
beginning, he was nervous and he was kind of
Sure.
scared. We know that they have a history.
Sure.
So I wonder if with the takeover of Mr. Wilfred, he will frame Bennett for something, throw him under the bus or the
Yeah.
train, and then send an attack on him, and he kind of last stands himself and
Mm.
might die.
It's
That might be
possible.
his death right there.
Yeah,
We
I
may have
mean
been spoiled.
Bennett isn't a huge character, and I also
Mm,
think that maybe a combo of Bennett and Ruth could really, shock people Walking Dead
yeah,
style, where somebody you're like, oh, I didn't know they were gonna die, would just be out. We have the live chat right up here now on the video,
nice.
so we'll be able to kind of just see you
Yeah,
guys'
awesome.
chats and respond to them. Bennett and Wilford definitely have some stuff
Yeah.
to unpack. Definitely. They have some
Mhm.
beef,
I want to
my
see that
dude.
fight.
Yeah.
So
Oh
here's
yeah.
the, and I really think Bennett might die now because that character development for my girl Melanie, that's going to be big for her,
Sure.
leadership roles and whatever. And I'd like to see a good fight. I'd like to see some kind of gentlemanly, duel between Mr. Wilfred and Bennett. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm rooting for that now. I mean, not
Yeah,
Bennett's death, but at least the fight and then imprisonment.
definitely. No, I think
Mhm.
there are some matchups we really want to see. Icy Bob versus
Yeah,
Josie. We want to see Leighton and Wilford. We want to see Bennett and Wilford. Kind of maybe even No, I don't think there'd be like a Melanie and
she
Alex
has to
type
get back
thing.
on the train first, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm assuming she's gonna get back on the train by the end of the episode. Comment from Grayson Glenn. I keep hearing a theory that Bennett is secretly helping Wilford. I'll pull that up right
Ooh,
there. I
that's
hadn't heard that one. I wonder what kind of evidence there would be to
Mhm.
support that one. He also says, "Hey, from London, we've got what have we got? We've
We got
got
the whole world here. This
I
is
know,
nice.
right?
We got
People. I mean,
Germany, we got England.
Snowpiercer is such an underrated show.
Mhm.
So definitely fans from all over the world here. So hello from New Jersey. That's where
Yeah.
we're based on the ledger. So, but yeah, I hadn't heard any theories of Bennett helping Wilford secretly. Would you be surprised for that? Also,
That's
Alexandra from Canada. So
oh,
hey,
wow, that's awesome. All right,
yeah.
so I actually don't think it's that far fetched because here's the thing. Mr. Wilfred in the movie, like his base character. That's what I'm going off of.
Sure.
Because I know the TV version is a little different, but they're trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
He mentions orchestrating violence with the
Okay.
tailies to kind
Yeah.
of keep the population down so that the food can be given to everybody. So
Wow.
I don't think it's that far fetched at all. It feels like a Wilfred move
Whew.
to cause violence on purpose to maintain food and
That
other
is diabolical.
right.
Goodness gracious, if they were to pull something like that, I guess the thing is, in a nutshell, for this episode, there are so many things that can happen. There are so many different things. Whether Melanie back on the train, I think they really did need these 2 hours. What's going to happen with Wilfred? Is Audrey really brainwashed, or is she coming back? Alexandra says she actually met some of the actors, some of the Canadian actors for the show. That is so cool.
Cool.
Absolutely. Um, let us know if we can get any secrets, any spoilers.
Yeah, seriously, if
But
you guys know something we don't, let's know.
we're always looking for all the inside scoops. So the kid who plays Winnie has done some work into it. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. So we got an actress herself over there. So definitely there's so much to look forward to here tonight. Guys, we are about an hour away from the start of the show. So Zach and I are gonna get prepared, be there or be square. The show goes from 9 to 11. So we'll be there right after the show, live again, to chat it up with you guys, to react. It's going to be a blast. You don't want to miss. So as always, hit the subscribe button, click the bell. And goodness
Ooh,
gracious, get ready for
Grayson
tonight.
just dropped a huge bomb on us.
Oh, what do you have?
Remember Bennett hid Big Alice on the satellite feed and then let Wilfred catch up? That could
That's a good
be.
point.
And I think I remember him on season 1 talking on radar to somebody, or not radar, like a computer. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking even back then, because it's something small that you don't think about, but who would he be talking to? The world
Right.
is on the train, right?
Good point.
So I feel like that could have been an Easter egg towards the future.
Good point.
So I'm loving this idea.
Ooh,
And
great one, Grayson. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to keep our eye on Bennett tonight. Who knows the kind of craziness that could be happening and the betrayals and things like that.
He has 20 minutes of screen time, he's gonna die, and I'm calling it.
Okay, 20 minutes. Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense.
We gotta be aware of who is being shown.
Yeah.
Because another possibility is that Mel might not even be in this. I mean, the train ran by her. She might have to wait for the next year.
I think
destroy her.
That would be so disappointing. I think if Melanie didn't make a big comeback, because here's the thing, let's be honest, she would die at those sub temperatures. And there is also the possibility of those caves, those springs that she found under there. So she may retreat back to there and survive on grass and rats, for the off season. But definitely let us know what you think down in the comments on this video. We'll use this kind of just to chat with you guys until the season finale, which is in less than an hour, guys. So be ready. Be here. We're going live right after the show. You don't want to miss it. 2-hour season finale. I'm Chris. That's Zach from The Basement with Zach. Remember, guys, part 1 is coming on Sibz. Part 2 is coming on La Quente Ledger. So you want to subscribe and click the bell to both channels so we can break it all down. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, Zach, thanks for joining.
Yes, love being here. Love talking to everybody. We got a good group here, guys.
Absolutely. Right. So we'll see you guys next time. But we'll be chatting it up with you guys for the next hour. Peace.